Today, I will be sharing with you how to introduce your child's first solid food. Alam naman natin na ito ang isa sa mga tanong ng mga mommies, lalo na kapag ang kanilang baby ay tumutungtong na ng 6 months. So hopefully for today's lecture, I'll be able to educate you on practical tips on how to start your child's first solid food. So bakit nga ba importante na malaman natin kung paano at ano ang kailangan kainin ng mga bata? Why do we need to know what children eat? Now, there is a need to establish an optimal diet for their lifelong growth, development, and well-being. So, ang ibig sabihin po nito, kapag tayo ay nagbibigay ng pagkain sa ating mga anak habang sila'y maliliit pa, this will have an influence on their growth and development, brain development, and how they will be later in life. So that is why it is very important that we take care of what they eat now so that they can have a very good future health. Now, alam natin, it's easier said than done. Sabi nga dito sa picture, mas madali pa yatang pakainin ng chocolate sa mga bata. Or we have done so many tricks in order to make them eat healthy food. So, what do we do about this now? So, the introduction of healthy complementary feeding choices is very important. So, what does it mean? Yung complementary feeding, it means that when you feed your child solid food from 6 months onwards, with continued breastfeeding. So, ibig sabihin, kahit ang ating mga baby at 6 months, nagsisimula na silang kumain ng solid food, kailangan tuloy-tuloy pa rin po ang breastfeeding. Beyond 6 months kasi ang breast milk may not be adequate enough to meet all the nutrients of breastfed infants, especially iron. Kasi alam naman natin, 6 months and below, ang breast milk ay sapat na bilang pagkain ng mga bata. Now, mula 6 months hanggang 8 months, yung mga babies, at risk din kasi sila sa mga micronutrient deficiencies. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng kulangin na sila sa iron, sa zinc, sa B vitamins, manganese, thiamine, magnesium, phosphorus, at iba pang micronutrients. And of course, the effects of long-term or recurrent malnutrition can last a lifetime. So, ano ba ang mga iba-ibang nutritional requirements of children? So, pwede kasi natin silang i-divide into macro and micronutrients. When we say macronutrients, ito yung mga carbohydrates, proteins, at saka yung mga fats. So, we can see here in the photo some examples of sources of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, when we talk about micronutrients, we're talking about yung mga vitamins and minerals. So, when we say vitamins, ito yung vitamin A, B complex, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and then yung mga minerals naman, examples would be iron and zinc. Now, how do we know that the child is ready for solid food? So, there are 3 things you have to remember. First of all, your baby should be at least 6 months of age. That is the ideal time to start solid food. And we also have to observe yung development ng bata. Kaya na ba niyang maupo sarili niya or at least nakakaupo kahit may suporta at mayroon ring head control. So siguro napapansin niyo na once your child starts crawling, medyo na-hold head up niya yung kanyang ulo, mas nasusuportahan niya. Kumpara nung siya ay mas maliit na medyo mas malambot ang kanyang leeg. So at around 6 months, a child will have good head control. And at this time, the baby should be able to open his mouth and swallow food. So nagkakaroon na siya ng feeding cues, bubuksan na niya yung bibig niya pag siya ay nagugutom at kapag binigyan ng pagkain, kaya na niyang lumunok. So, the next question, ready na si baby sa solid food? Paano bang tamang paraan ng pagbigay ng solid food? What is the proper way to introduce it? So, what we do is, we start with one kind of food. So let's not be overly excited. We know that there are so many things that we want to feed our kids then and there. Pero medyo kalmado lang tayo and mag-start muna tayo one kind of food at a time. Because this is a good way for us to observe if your child will have any reactions to the food. Bigla ba siya magra-rashes, magsusuka, baka naman pala biglang nag-diarrhea, or maybe hindi pa kayang tunawin ng tiyan niya ang pagkain. So, my suggestion, you start giving 1 to 2 teaspoons of pureed food a day. So, it could be one kind of fruit. vegetable or lugaw or pwedeng iron fortified cereals, mamili na lang kayo. But for my patients, I usually recommend starting with fruits and vegetables. So for example, today you want to start off with pureed apple. So start first, you peel the apple, you grind the apple or mash it, and then you add breast milk to the mashed apple. And then, ang pagdagdag ng milk would be in such a way na runny. Ibig sabihin, kapag kumuha ka ng isang kutsarita ng hinalong mansanas at gatas at tinagilid mo ang kutsarita, tutulo ito. Ganun lang siya dapat ka-liquid. Kasi one of our aim during at this time is not to altogether replace milk as a main source of nutrients. But, number one, the goal is to start introducing other sources of nutrients in order to meet the needs of the growing child. Second, we want to introduce these kinds of food so that madedevelop ang kanilang taste and eating habits. So, madedevelop din yung kanilang familiarity sa iba-ibang flavors. Marirealize nila meron palang ibang pagkain bukod sa gatas ni nanay. So, that is why we also suggest to introduce one food at a time. Siguro mga 3 to 4 days, puro apple pureed muna ang bibigay nyo. Pag wala kayong nakitang reaction, then you can move on to, for example, kalabasa for about 3 to 4 days. After 3 to 4 days, mag-start naman kayo. For example, pwede kayong mag-try ng pureed na malunggay or any leafy vegetable. So this is an example or a picture on how we start. So at 6 months, pureed smooth food. So makikita natin dito from the first teaspoon ng 6 months, napaka liquid nito. Ito ay durog na durog. Habang siya ay tumatanda, when the child is starting to develop already, yung magkaroon na siya ng ngipin, nade-develop na niya yung kanyang pagmuya, pag-swallow, manonotice nyo, dito sa 7 to 8 months, it's now mashed, minced, finely chopped, and then at around 9 to 12 months, dice or cube na siya. Kasi pag hambang mga 1-year-old na yung ating anak, kaya na niyang humawak ng mga small pieces. So that is how you introduce solid food. We introduce it gradually. We progress it according to the development of the child. Huwag po tayong masyadong magmadali kasi ang bata nagde-develop yan unti-unti at dapat sabayan din po natin ito. So, gaano nga ba kadalas natin ibibigay ang pagkain sa bata? Para sa mga bata 6 to 8 months, we recommend 2 to 3 times a day. So, you can give it at breakfast and then around lunch, or you can give it around morning snack or after an afternoon snack. So, it's really up to you. You also have to recognize the hunger cues of your child. So, sabihin, ito yung mga times na siya ay nagkakaroon na ng mga signal na parang siya ay nagugutom na at humihingi ng pagkain. Ngayon, pag ang bata ay 9 to 24 months, meaning siya ay tumungtong na ng mga 9 months hanggang mga 2 years old. So, you can feed them 3 to 4 times a day plus 1 to 2 snacks. So, parang yung schedule na rin natin, merong 3 major meals which is breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then sa pagitan, meron tayong morning snack at merong afternoon snack. So yun yung suggested na timetable ng pag-feed sa baby. Now, when we give food, we include food choices from different groups. Wag naman po puro prutas, wag puro gulay. Kailangan samahan din po natin ng ibang pagkain mula sa ibang food groups because if you remember what I mentioned earlier, we also need the macronutrients and the micronutrients. So for example, yung mga grains, nandyan ang mga rice, yung bread, yung lugaw. So all of these, ito ay good source of carbohydrates, of fiber. Ito na mga meats, poultry and beans like egg, fish, chicken, beef, pork, cheese, mga mongo beans, good source of proteins. And of course, we have the vegetable and fruits, which will be the good source of our micronutrients. So remember, when you feed your child, provide a variety of healthy food choices. So include nutritious food choices from the food groups that I discussed earlier and introduce food again in a stepwise fashion and gradually progress the texture and contents as the baby gets older, from puree to mash hanggang bite-sized pieces. Now, always remember to make eating a pleasant experience. Be patient with your baby. If, for example, the baby refuses the food, for example, nag-try kang magbigay ng pureed carrots, ayaw niya, try again in a few days. Kasi, remember, the child is not yet familiar with the flavor, with the smell, and even the texture of the new food that you're introducing. That's why we need to be patient. It takes at least 10 times before the child gets used to the new food. So, ulit-ulitin lang po natin. At dadating din ang panahon, magugustuhan din niya at kakainin din niya yan. And again, progress the food's consistency. Lumpy food prevents aspiration and challenges the baby's tongue and jaw muscles. And variety forms good eating habits. So you give food in different shapes, colors, textures, natural flavor. So minsan nga, we give orange for carrots. Tapos today, we give greens, pwedeng leafy vegetables, and then the whites for the grains. And then later on, pwede mo na silang pagsama-samahin. If for example, nakita mo na okay naman pala yung apple for your child, okay na din pala yung pear. So, pwede mo na siyang pagsamahin into one puree or one mashed meal. And plain tastes best. Avoid muna nating magbigay ng mga strong spices and seasoning because as much as possible, we want your child to actually appreciate the natural flavors of the food that you're giving to them. Yan. So, that's it. Actually, I'm done. I shared with you today how to introduce solid food to your babies and to your children. So hopefully you'll be able to use this as you feed your kids. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us today.